powered by Riverside.
Hello and welcome into TheSadFan, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made us sad from the previous week. And you know what, guys? I believe
that we
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
Well, technically, we're undefeated.
We're undefeated, and we have not given up a goal in regulation.
I think we're one of three teams. Our group. I think our group is the only group that the top two teams didn't lose. Right?
Yeah.
I think the top two teams in our group didn't actually lose. England and USA are the only top two teams. I know teams have the top team that didn't lose, like Brazil, Portugal. But I think we're the only group that had the top two teams not lose.
And the only goal we gave up was the PK. Like, I'll take that. Our defense has been fantastic.
Yeah, and I did not like the Carter Vickers move. I did not like it, but he looked good. He played well. I didn't think you take out Zimmerman in that spot. One of our colleagues, Wes, said he thinks it's because he didn't want another brain fart, like what happened to Walker Zimmerman in the Wales game to happen, so he just put him in late. But he played like a madman. But we're going to start in the usual place where we always start. And we're going to start with you, Wes, because you basically are mad at an entire region.
So what made me sad? Let's see. Let's start with Saturday, the Oregon game. We gave up, what was it, a 24-point lead? Oregon and Oregon State. Literally like 4 minutes left in the third quarter, we were up by like 24 points, and we gave it up. Like really stupid fourth down decisions. Like we went for it like on our side of the field, and then we had a 3rd and 12. We ran on 3rd and 12, and then we went for it on 4th and 12. I was like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
And no one knows. I was there at the game, and I was just kind of like in the stands with like drunk idiot Beaver fans behind me. Just like one of them was like drunk off of his ass, and I just like we were at the very top, and I just kept picturing in my mind like me like pushing him over the rail because he was so annoying. But yeah, so that was my Saturday, and that was pretty awful. And then Sunday, the Seahawks choked against the Raiders, in no small part thanks to the refs. Literally at the end of the game, we got a fumble, and then the refs were just like, down by possession. Or no, they said down by forward progress, when they literally blew the whistle after the fumble was recovered by the Seahawks. And then they said, no, he was down. He was down by contact. And then Pete threw the challenge flag, and then they're like, actually, he was down from forward progress, so we can't review it. No, you blew the whistle after the play was over, after it was fumbled. You never called for forward progress. You never blew the whistle for forward progress. You can't just make up your mind as it suits you because you have your money on the fucking Raiders. Bullshit.
Look, as a Raiders fan, I saw nothing wrong with anything that happened.
But what did the refs not notice though? Because I think that there was at least one big thing.
Oh, when the Seahawks guy ran onto the field at the very beginning of the game.
Was it the very beginning of the game, or was it during?
It was the very first play. It was the very first play. First quarter
blocking.
Yeah, what was he blocking? What happened that he blocked?
He got excited. He didn't even affect the outcome of the play. It doesn't matter. It was hilarious.
I think you're mad that the Seahawks couldn't win a game in which they had 12 men.
The bull crap call that the fucking refs made affected the game. And let's not even like go into like the holding on like the Josh Jacobs run. Like there was holding there that was missed. Like
not a holding, man.
There was. He literally had his jersey. I sent you a screenshot. He had his jersey like this.
He have a screenshot that took place in a.
And look at the video. Look at the video. You'll see. You'll see. He's holding the guy's jersey. It was. The refs were garbage. The refs were absolute garbage at the end. The refs were garbage.
The 300-pound man was held up by this. That's what held him up.
No, it was more like 100 or like a 200-pound man was being held by a 300-pound guy on his jersey. So
I don't know that Mac Hollins weighs 300 pounds, but fair enough.
Just look at the video.
I'm just sad because I couldn't see this because it was completely blacked out in my region. CBS was just showing 60 minutes reruns or something like that. I didn't get to see any of this game.
It's the worst. I hate television rights that are still localized because
they weren't even showing a different game that. I would have understood. But then I had to put on Red Zone. I immediately start to get a migraine. I couldn't focus on it, and I just turned off the TV.
My favorite thing. Red Zone. Put it in my veins.
Can't.
Red Zone is pretty good.
Yeah. How about the Blazers? They still number one? They still sit in the top?
No, they're on a fat losing streak, and they suck right now. But you know what? Kraken are good, so that's all that matters. They won 6 straight. They're second in the West, only behind the Vegas Knights. So
who they beat the Vegas Knights during the winning
time?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they beat them 4-2 last week, but
again,
we're still second.
I care not at all about hockey. So
you should, because it's more interesting to watch than soccer.
It is fun to watch live, and it's not more fun to watch than European football at all.
No.
So is that
I have some thoughts on that, including how stupid offsides is, especially when you get into the ticky-tack of someone's elbow being ahead of their chest.
We got that coming up. We got that coming up. So Chelsea, is that the only thing that made you sad was the television rights?
It was one of a few things. The Oregon player DJ Johnson, punching an Oregon State fan, totally unnecessary, totally uncalled for. And also
he hit him from behind.
I know, it was awful. It was such a sucker punch, and it was gross, and I never want to see it. Just I feel like all the Michigan State players should absolutely be charged with assault. So should this guy. He should absolutely be off the team. I make no excuses just because they're on my team. I want them gone. Don't want them in the locker room. Don't want anything to do with them. But, so there's a few things that are making me sad. Besides that, this Deshaun Watson thing is just really rubbing me the wrong way. I absolutely believe these women. I'm just going to put that straight out. But the fact that their lawyer is pulling this publicity stunt, having all of them there to sit and pay money to watch their, attacker right there play in front of them, play a game which he's getting millions of dollars to do, just feels wrong. And
this season.
Yeah.
And this season is one because they were prepping for him to be suspended all year.
So I don't think they're paying for it. But the ladies all agreed to go, and I think they're just trying to show to Deshaun Watson that they won't let him
win.
Absolutely. Yeah. I get that part of it, but first of all, they're going to be that's going to be half the stadium, because no one is going to these games. I don't know if I mentioned last time.
Many women.
But is the game in Houston or Cleveland?
The game is in Houston.
They didn't Masseuse didn't go to a masseuse conference and be like, "Hey, let's all accuse Deshaun Watson." And it's different all across. I think it's even 2 different states at this point. So he did it allegedly.
Right. So
he did it.
So, like I said, I'm going to believe the women, but I feel that there has to be something that has to be said, and that is, if a lawyer is trying to pull these kind of PR stunts or this kind of gimmicky publicity because nothing's really moving forward in a case, get yourself a new lawyer, because they're really just out there trying to make a name for themselves off of the back of your tragedy, your personal tragedy. I just the whole thing is just so gross. First and foremost, starting with the alleged events that have occurred. They're horrible, right? But I don't know. I just hate these kind of it's a different kind of word, but ambulance chasers who are just in it to make a name for themselves. And that's what it feels like this lawyer is doing with these women who are victims of sexual violence. And it just, I don't know, just icky and...
Oh, sorry. I don't want to get off the topic without Wes getting what he wanted to say out.
I kind of feel like I already said it. Because it's only 10 of the women. And so it's not I think he asked only them, 10. And I think I don't think he was like trying to like convince them or like twist their arm into doing it. I think these women wanted to go to like prove a point to Deshaun. And so, like, I mean, if that's how you want to prove, or like if that's how you want to stand up to your abuser, then yeah. Like, I'm okay with that.
I do see like kind of both sides of it, but I don't know. I just had to put kind of like my spin on it from like kind of.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like Michael Avenatti. I mean, back in like with the Stormy Daniels.
The Stormy Daniels thing, yeah.
Yeah, just like celebrity lawyer type thing.
I mean, but that's not ever going to go away. That's never.
No,
not on today's page.
Yeah, it's one of the faults with our system, but I do just like what I actually really want to see is actual progress on the case itself. Bringing him into the courtroom, having him, stand trial for the crimes that he is accused of, rather than just a stunt. And that's what I'm kind of trying to say. Like, why not focus the time and energy there rather than on whatever this is? Because
proving a point, the one that Wes said, we're not going to let you impact the rest of our lives. We're not scared of you. And two, I think it's a statement of he shouldn't be playing, like, at all.
Yeah.
And he is. Yeah. So, and the Browns fans have not been classy, as we talked about on a previous episode.
No.
They've been terribly gross. So, not all of them. God, I hate having to make qualifiers. But you know what? If some of your fans weren't so shitty, I wouldn't have to make so many qualifiers. Now, what made me sad is the Michael Scott, right? The Office. So I'd say my weaknesses are really just my strengths, and my strengths overcome my weaknesses. What really made me sad is that I had to watch Captain America get kicked in the balls so hard while he was scoring a goal that he had to go to the hospital and had to get hooked up to an IV because his testicles were literally in his abdomen. He got hit so hard that he had to go to the doctor and have them popped back out. So he had a pelvic contusion. A pelvic contusion is what he's diagnosed with. And as a man, I'm just going to say, he got hit in the balls real hard.
Oh, yeah, real hard.
I mean,
we've all been there when we were drunk. Maybe not that hard, but...
I haven't.
Well, you don't have balls.
We're going to go off on a tangent. I don't want to ask Chelsea about her balls, Wes, especially after what we just talked about. I don't care that your siblings inappropriate, Wes. Our HR department will have a lot to say about you asking but yeah, it was crazy because one of the shows that I listened to was like, it's actually kind of sad because they even made a commercial, right, about all the pressure that's on Christian Pulisic, and he finally scores in the World Cup. He finally comes through with the score, and he can't celebrate. He can't. Yeah. His celebration is him on the ground just in pain. Because his whole team is celebrating, and then the video goes to him, and he's in the goal just stomping his foot on the ground because he got hit in the nuts so hard.
Oh, man.
He can't walk. Hats off to him for finishing the half, though, right? Hats off to him for finishing the half. And hats off to the United States for the first time in 8 years re-entering the knockout round. How'd you guys absorb that game?
So I only really got to watch like the last little bit of the game, due to like some scheduling stuff. So I actually didn't even see the moment, but I was watching the end. And
not the goal, right?
Yeah, the end of the game. So, it was just a really crazy thing to watch because it really looked like the U.S. has just struggled offensively everywhere. They've been putting up incredible shows defensively, but they really have they only had I think 2 or 3 shots on goal throughout all 3 games, which is pretty insane. Just the low numbers of even attempts to, shoot the ball into the net or whatever, the goal is that we're trying to accomplish here. So
this isn't a sports show or anything, guys.
No, I think I've been around my husband too long. He calls basketball the shooty hoops thing. So we're we've got some sports illiterate people in this household. But no, it was just really clear though that the U.S. just cannot get their offensive set together, and it just looks really, really difficult for them to figure things out together. I don't know if that is like a cohesion issue, like if there's something going on like in the locker room or with like the coach or what is happening there. But I'm amazed that we got out of the groups, and if we're going to keep advancing, we've got to figure something else out more than this. But also, just to add on to what I was saying, earlier before we started recording, is that the way that Fox News, or not Fox News, sorry, I don't watch that. The way Fox was covering this right after the game was just, you thought this guy just deserved a Purple Heart. Like, he had put his body on the line for his country. That, he had just done the most. He had made the ultimate sacrifice, and it was just the amount of grandstanding was just incredible. And that was amazing.
Chelsea, not to cut off Wes before he starts, and not to cut you off, but not only did he put his body on the line, he put the lives of his future children on the line. He took that shot right to the nose.
He put his country on the line. He put the country on his back.
Okay. Cool.
I actually didn't get to see the goal because I started watching it. I was at work, so I started watching it on my other monitor, and then I had a meeting, and it was supposed to go until 11:30, and the goal was scored at 38 minutes, and so my coworkers just kept the meeting going until like 11:45. I got to be nice to my coworkers, but yeah, so I missed the freaking goal, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" But so I watched the rest of the game at my computer. There wasn't many people around, and by the time it ended, I was just like, yes. Every time we made a big save, I was just in my own little cubicle, just silently cheering.
Yeah, and Matt Turner is a hero.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, he's becoming the new Tim Howard. That guy has made big saves. He was a walk-on in the MLS. That's so crazy. From walk-on MLS, to savior of the United States World Cup team.
Yeah.
And
right, he only went to a Division II school too.
Yeah.
It wasn't even D1 or anything like that. So
relative unknown
huge.
Until he made it to the MLS.
Coaching. It's all about coaching.
And drive. You got to have that drive to keep pushing yourself. The know that, hey, I'm better than what I've had the opportunity to do. I'm better than what I've had the opportunity to do. And for all that goes wrong, that is one thing that America will still do. If you're willing to be broke and just keep showing people, I swear I'm good at this. Eventually, someone will see you and you'll get an opportunity. And he got it, and he's proving everyone right that selected him. I don't want to get off United States without
undefeated. That's all I got to say. We're undefeated.
Chelsea, offensive issues. I think some people will argue with me, but I do think it's Berhalter's selection. Ricardo Pepi. We could have used Ricardo Pepi as a striker up front. Josh Sargent has been good. He was really good against Iran.
Really good.
Against Iran. He was really good against Iran. I don't want to get too far into the Berhalter and Tyler Adams being asked, why are there still ships in the Gulf? In the Persian Gulf, like the coach is sitting in an office with Joe Biden, hey, coach, maybe we should, coach, what do you think we should do about these ships that we have in the Persian Gulf right now? And then
unbelievable.
Asking the 23-year-old kid, hey, how do you feel about representing a racist country? What are you doing right now? Tyler Adams handled it amazingly, right? He was just I think there's discrimination everywhere, and I'm like, that's correct.
Yeah, that guy was fishing for some combative remark. Yeah, so annoying. But he just said it so antagonizingly.
So I don't want to jump on our coach. He's made it through, right? What can I say?
Mm-hmm.
He's not my favorite manager ever, but he's apparently pressed all the right buttons. But I think that the U.S. could use Ricardo Pepi. Right, they could use a good striker that could get the ball in net, and we could use Gio Reyna. Like, no one can really figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Berhalter and Reyna in that selection, right? Timothy Weah's been great, right? But we know Weston McKennie's a little hurt. We could use Gio there. We could use Gio in a goal scorer spot at a center forward or striker position, and he just won't put him in. Haji Wright shouldn't even be on the team. Jesus Ferreira shouldn't even be on the team, and he keeps playing Haji Wright. And I kind of justified it with myself with maybe he's playing Haji Wright because Haji Wright has superior defense to Giovanni Reyna, right? Because the situations he's put Haji Wright in have been defensive. He started Haji Wright against England in a defensive situation, and then he subbed Josh Sargent off for Haji Wright in a game where we needed to maintain our lead. So maybe that's it, right? But the USA is now playing the country I'm in, the Netherlands. And how do you guys feel about our chances against the Netherlands? What do you guys think is going to happen? Go ahead, Wes.
I think we have a puncher's chance against Netherlands. Obviously, Netherlands the favorite, and like if I was a betting man, I'd probably put money on Netherlands because they're like one of the best in the world. But I think we have a good shot. I think our defense is going to kind of muffle them. And if we can just get some chances and like actually put it into the net.
Just give me a chance.
I know.
A chance.
Just be aggressive. Just be aggressive. What do we have to lose?
Hit me with more cliches. Cliches.
I'll try. But yeah, I mean, like, just, what do we have to lose?
Put their nose in the grindstone. Say it. Say they got to put their nose in the grindstone.
Put their nose to the grindstone. Ouch.
Just keep it.
Win the day.
I think you're right. Go ahead, Chelsea.
I'm going to be honest. Like, I want to believe. Want to believe. But the rational side of me kind of looks at this and is like, I think this is where we're shown the door.
They do have some of the best players in the whole world on their team.
Yeah. I mean, we did not get lucky in that draw.
Van Dijk, Memphis Depay, Frankie de Jong, De Ligt, like all these players are like world-class players, and De Ligt is on their bench. He's not even starting for the Netherlands.
Yeah.
So it is Netherlands is a good team. I think I agree with Wes. I think it will go to free kicks or penalty kicks, pardon me, PKs. But why did I do that? But
you just made yourself look like a classic American.
Yeah, I was like, why did I just do that?
It's called soccer. It's called soccer. It's called soccer.
So stupid.
But
I love
American football. I'm a little tired of coaches getting recycled after they do a terrible job. So I just don't want it to go unnoticed that Matt Rule got one of the biggest contracts in college.
Hold on, one more thing, just on the U.S. men's national team. I just want to say how stupid this video replay offsides is. Like, literally, you're offsides by an elbow, like your shoulder or whatever, like is ahead of the guy, but like your legs are still behind him, and it's offsides. Like, that goes beyond like the furthest like reaches of like the furthest intent of the original offsides rule. The offsides rule was intended to keep people from camping on the other side of the field. And like this just goes beyond, and it kind of like ruins like scoring. There's so many like amazing goals that are taken away from amazing plays by the offense, like where they just like they just lose the defense like at a split second, and it's just taken away by stupidity.
And it totally so not only that, but it also completely interrupts the flow of the game, and it's just obnoxious, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
my argument was, I felt like the Iranian defender's hand was further past the line in that replay that we saw in that 3D reimaging than Way's elbow.
Yeah.
And the more I looked at it, I was like, it looks like his hand is further forward. So it looks like if we're doing it like this, he's still onside.
Yeah, and I think they should just make it like both your legs or like both your feet are ahead of like his entire body, and then or like both are ahead of both of his feet, like because otherwise it's just so like ticky tack. Yeah, no, it's just so ticky tack.
It is. It's absolutely ridiculous. just like rehiring Matt Rule and making him one of the highest paid coaches in all of college football after his tenure as being one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL with the Carolina Panthers was awful. And he was dubbed a quarterback whisperer. He couldn't make it work with Joe Brady, who was one of the best offensive coordinators in college football with LSU. He couldn't make it work with, God, how many did he go through? Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, PJ, what's his name? PJ, oh gosh, I can't even think of that QB's name. So he tried all of these different quarterbacks, and he couldn't make it work with any of them. Christian McCaffrey ends up getting traded away. They are in full reset mode for that entire team. If they weren't in the NFC South, they would just stop winning, right? But the NFC South is so terrible as Tampa Tom drops another game and somehow is still in the lead.
I think he's gonna do good things with Nebraska. I don't think they're gonna take away the throne from Ohio State or Michigan, but I think he's gonna get him back to competitiveness, 9-game, 10-game wins. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna dethrone Ohio State or Michigan from the top of the Big Ten. But I think he can get him back to a Big Ten championship. I think he's gonna get him back to 9, 10-win seasons, competitive with the other top teams.
It's gonna be Michigan or Ohio State against Nebraska in the Big Ten championship every year.
Probably. I mean, Purdue sucks. I mean, Nebraska, I think, is gonna do better than Purdue with Matt Rule.
What about USC and UCLA?
That's a few years down the road. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that because we don't even know what the divisions are going to look like at that point.
Are they going to make an impact? Are they going to be good over there?
USC and UCLA? Yeah, I think they're going to be good.
Okay.
I mean, I don't care. Like I've said before, the Pac-12's dead. It's just
Why did it break you?
It's swan song.
Fiery. You let it break your soul. With Oregon losing 2 games this year,
I'm pretty sure. So I'm pretty sure at the beginning when it was first announced, I was really annoyed, and then I think at a certain point, especially with just how bad our refs are consistently year in year out, we don't do anything, and we never do anything to make the conference better. I just gave up. I'm you know what, this conference deserves to die, and I'm pretty sure I said that in one of earlier the episodes.
You sound like a broken child. It's worse. You don't do anything to make it better.
Pac-12 deserves to die. That's all I'm going to say. And you know what? Come along. I hope it's Oregon and Washington that go to the Big Ten. And fuck you, Beavers. I hope you stay in the Mountain West.
Phrasing. Hardcore phrasing on that whole statement. I
mean, the tagline for the Pac-12 is the Conference of Champions because we do have the most national championships. When you look at all sports, combined.
Crew.
Track and field, yeah, whatever. Anyways, what I was going to say is when it comes to football, though, this conference is the conference of cannibals, and I'm tired of it. It's been that way as long as I've been paying attention. It's really obnoxious, and it happened again this year. So this year, it got to the point where last weekend, if Washington beat Washington State, Oregon was going to go back to the Pac-12 title game, and I did not want that. Oregon has already come off this major loss, so they're either going to eat USC in the Pac-12 title game, knock them out of the running for, the college football playoffs, which would also just suck for the conference in general, which, I mean, yeah, we're about to blow up our conference, so does it even matter? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I didn't even want Oregon to play in the
get another loss.
So I was like,
or get another loss, yeah.
So for you to make me root for Washington of all schools this year, too, to beat Wazoo. Huh?
Wes's alma mater?
Yeah. My brother, the school my brother went to.
So I was really drunk after the Oregon game, and honestly, I didn't care. I was like, if we go in, cool. If Washington wins and it's Utah, cool. Because you know what? At this point, let's go USD. because let's keep Alabama out of the playoffs at any cost.
Exactly. So that's the situation that we were looking at. I was looking at it on paper, and I'm sitting there like trying to do the math, and I'm like, if USC is out for any reason, so they better beat Utah, even though Utah beat them earlier this season, because it's the conference of cannibals, like, then Bama slides in. Luckily, LSU lost to a horrible Jimbo Fisher A&M team, because otherwise, like, I would have. I still think
Ohio State gets that 4th slot, but if TCU loses and USC loses, Alabama.
TCU isn't going to lose. They're not great, but they're
about this. I was right about everything. It was wild. Bo Nix goes down again. Bo Nix, come on, bring it on, guys, bring it on. He's so good. All right, C.J. Stroud gets beat again. C.J. Stroud, and puts up like 23 points and 0 points, 0 points in the second half. And I was like, I told you.
Yeah.
And now you guys are saying Ohio State might make it in to the playoff, which if we watch back last week's episode, I said it's probably going to be Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State. That was my keep it going. Like, I love you. Seahawks lost to the Raiders.
So let me.
I told Wes the Seahawks could very likely lose to the Raiders this weekend.
Okay, if you want to go about predictions, I made the prediction about Jimmy Garoppolo at the very beginning of the season, but I think the Ohio State-Michigan game was a lot closer than the final score reflected, because with like 7 minutes left, it was still like neck and neck. Ohio State was only down by 1 score, but I think they just like got too aggressive and like they let who's the running back? Was it Blake Corum? Get a couple like big runs. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. They let him break some big runs, and that kind of just burnt him. They were playing like too aggressive. They were trying to like make the big play, and yeah.
And CJ Stroud is overrated. You can say it. Go ahead, say it. Come out on this ledge with me. There's lots of room.
I hate Ohio State as much as you, but we'll see. We'll see what they do.
Yeah.
I like that people are seeing watch our show. I'm telling you, watch our show. I've been right all along. I'm just chugging along. Here I go, chug, chug, chug. And I just keep telling you what's going to happen, and then it happens. And I'm not Nostradamus, but I'm going to tell you right now, like, I've got it down. I know what's happening. I
like how you cherry pick the few things that are right, but you ignore everything else that you got wrong this entire time. You want to know why? Because we just forget about it.
Wes, I haven't forgotten about it. Like, I'll come out and I'll say what's wrong. But right now, Josh McDaniels, even though he's winning, he's still not a good coach in my opinion. Okay, he's a lame duck coach, and we're just going to see what happens next.
I mean, I told you last year when they hired him that it was a bad hire, and they should have kept what's his face, their interim coach.
Oh,
let me see the receipts.
Yeah.
Let me see those receipts, bro. Get those texts. I want to see them.
On film.
I will. I'll get those texts.
All of my predictions are here on film. Just rewatch the show. Go ahead. Just go back through it. Wiseman. Who said Wiseman wasn't that great on the Golden State Warriors? This guy did. Everybody's like, well, we haven't really gotten to see him. He's been hurt. No, I'm like, he's not good. All right. So anyway, I'm just off my soapbox. I'm gonna let it go. I don't want to get rocked like Sean McVay did this weekend. As we slide seamlessly into what was hilarious for the weekend, Sean McVay should have gone into concussion protocol, right? Like when he took.
Oh, dude.
Oh yeah. That poor guy.
It was bad, right? You guys saw it.
Yeah, it didn't look that bad, but I mean, taking a helmet like to the face like that,
it
hurts.
It's never good.
It's got to be like a fractured cheekbone or something, right?
I think he's just gonna have a bump on his head.
There's the bump on the cheek, a big old hematoma right on the side of his head. And it's better than a hematoma on the balls, right, Christian? So we had that, and then we had your guys' former quarterback up in Seattle, pardon me, Russell Wilson, just get totally made to look like a child in front of all the world by Dominic Purcell. Like, that was wild.
He really did look like a mom yelling at their kid. Like, just, kid throwing a tantrum and kind of like walking away in a little bit of a huff and just like, no, you get back here.
Yeah, I think it worked.
Did wrong.
I think it worked on Seattle because he had like years of like camaraderie built up with those guys on the O line. But it's not going to work when you're just like coming in like as a trade
and being corny as hell.
Yeah, and especially when you're not playing well. I mean, like Russell Wilson on the Seahawks, he at least had like the Super Bowl to his name. But here it's like, well, what are you going to do for us? And it's like they're just not. I don't know. I don't think they respect him that much here.
Just a different uniform. It's the same sort of. It was a defender. It wasn't an offensive lineman. It was a defensive lineman that's yelling at him.
Oh, it's defensive. I thought it was an O lineman.
No, Dominic Purcell is a defensive lineman.
Oh, okay.
And he's basically saying, "Hey, we're carrying your ass again, just like Seattle carried you." I don't think that's exactly what was said, but it was something to that effect, like score fucking points. Score points. Because, like, Denver, if they had, like, I think the stat is if they have just scored 19 points a game, if they were just able to score 19 points a game, they'd be like 8-1, right? So, in those games. So if they could just score 19 points, they would be winning games. So I think the defense is tired of him again, just like the Legion of Boom was. Like, he gets all the credit if they win, and none of them, like, hate until now, right? In Seattle, if they're losing. And I think the defenses just get tired of it because the defense in Denver has actually been really, really good.
So what do you think? Okay, so Swami Fry over here, the all-seer, all-knower. What do you think happens to him in the offseason then? I mean, like, are they going to put him on the chopping block?
No, they've got to write it out. That contract, it's like 7 years. They extended him like 7 years. Contract's stupid. Like,
damn.
Can you imagine the dead money if they can't trade him? If they cut him, or the dead money is going to be like $70 million, $80 million, probably more than that. But, yeah, like, they got to write it out. They don't have a choice. I think the coach gets fired. You want my real prediction? If I am going to be Nostradamus, I think the coach gets fired. I think we see Nathaniel Hackett get out the door after one season.
Really? After one season?
Yep.
I don't think so. I think even if they lose out, I think he gets one other season.
One more season?
Brand new quarterback, new head coach. You can't just like can the head coach after one season. It's too reactionary, and that never works out.
I think John Elway's reputation's on the line again. I think it is. He's been bad at selecting quarterbacks. He went out and did what he did with Peyton Manning and tried to get the ace in the hole, and boom, it looks awful. So it might be over. But you know what the Broncos didn't have is their mascot running around in a speedo. And I'd like to end the show there. Like, did you guys see, like, Jacksonville was just letting their mascot's junk just hang out?
I mean, you live in Florida, right? I mean, you live in Florida. That's what all the guys do is just, like, sunbathe in Speedos. And why not? It's nice out.
So it was odd. Do you think that was to distract the Ravens? Because if so, it worked.
Distracted everybody, man. I mean, isn't there something in like the statutes like you can't wear a flag like that?
I think it was a good distraction. Okay, I enjoyed it.
Law, man.
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it. You were simpatico, Wes. Brother, there.
Right.
They just painted him like Bart Simpson yellow, like head to toe, and then just. That's like the Speedo
what his
on.
Color is.
It was disturbing. Disturbing.
We don't judge based on Jaguar skin colors here, Chelsea. Jaguars can be whatever color they want.
I'm supportive of that. I'm just saying that must have been a very long post-game shower.
You know, we're being really hard on the Jaguar, except for Wes. Wes has his back wholeheartedly. It would be
he loves it.
Yes, it would be very awkward to see a giant-headed Jaguar in a Speedo nodding his head at me, like, yeah, good job. And I'd just be like, what is going on right now, right?
And some subtle gyration of the hips, too. There was some of that going.
I can't let it slide without saying, at least he was wearing pants, and that's more than the duck can say. Because the duck doesn't wear without pants.
Yeah. You know what? If the U.S. wins, I'm going to wear my U.S. Speedo next week.
He's done it before, folks. He's done it
I'm wearing my U.S. Speedo next week. Prepare yourselves.
US wins against Netherlands?
Yep, it's happening.
Let's leave it there so we have a good spot to go see what Wes promised on Saturday. I changed my flight to an early flight so I could make sure I was there for the game. If you want to reach us, you can reach us all at TheSadFan Podcast Company on YouTube. You can reach us, it's TheSadFan, all one word, and you can reach us at TheSadFancast on Twitter. We look forward to seeing you. And remember, subscribe, rate, review. We'll see you guys next week.